I said, remember me. I said, first century.
I'm going to allow you to unmute yourself if you have a question. We're going to get started with our daily assignment. So let's get started with that. The screen. And get rid of that. Boom. All right, here we go. If you have not yet done the iStation for May, please make sure you do it. If you're having trouble, oh, I forgot. Hi, I am here. I'm not just a disconnected voice. If you haven't done your iStation yet, please make sure you do so. If you have trouble with it, we do have a video to help you get around some of the difficulties some people have on Clever with the iStation. This is the, let's see, there's 2 more Fridays left. 2 more Fridays left, and then poof, you're done with online quarter number 4 and the school year 2019 and 2020. So finish strong. And let's continue. The Little Prince. Now, you might think this is like a science fiction story because, you know, it happens in space. The Little Prince is from an asteroid. But what's it really about? It's character after character of different types of personalities of people. So the author is using the Little Prince to explore what makes people people. And today's character, the king who has nobody to rule except a rat. And then you have the conceited guy, and everybody has to admire him. And of course, you remember the flower. The flower had to be, you know, so precious that and strong at the same time with her thorns that she could attack a tiger. So it's all about different types of personalities and what makes people tick. So you got a set of 5 questions today, and chapters 10 and 11. It's a little shorter. It's like 7 minutes. Starting next week, there'll be 4 chapters a day. There'll be the same number of questions. I won't increase that. But we have to get through the book, and I will be doing all the recordings over the weekend, and I'll have it all ready to go. But I've had a lot of fun recording it and putting it together into those videos. I hope you're enjoying it. I would recommend that you listen to it with your headphones on and then get nice and close to the screen so you can read along. But these characters, the conceited man and the king, are hilarious. How can you be a king with nobody to rule? And he says, I order you to do that. It's like, you know, he orders the Little Prince to yawn. Of course, you can't yawn if you're ordered to yawn. Editing, there's none today. We'll start with a new topic next week that will be based in history. And again, what's great about these editing assignments is you learn how to recognize errors and fix them, and you learn something about history. So we'll have a new topic on Monday, and that will be the last editing of the year because the entire last week is going to be fully dedicated to you giving us a tour of someplace on the planet. So all the Zoom things for the last week of school will be about you taking us on a journey to where you want us to go. We have said all of these words now, and this week we've used them in sentences, and the activity involved learning how to spell the words, using them in sentences so you show that you know the meaning, and then you also have the topic of using these different kinds of punctuation points. So what if you get to the hyphen and the dash and like, how do I use those? Here's what you do. You go to Google and you type in examples of dashes and hyphens and sentences. Click, and then you're going to get a list. And you're going to get sentences. Then you can look at those sentences and then create your own sentences based upon the sentence that you're reading. So you just change the words around a little bit, and then you have a good example of a dash or a hyphen or whatever else. How do I use an ellipsis? Well, type it in there. You can also go to your Punctuation Jungle PDF, and they also have examples. So using these sentences, using these words and sentences, learning how to spell them, using them correctly, making good sentences, and including different punctuation marks. So you're covering a lot of ground with these sentences. Moving on. Now, today, during our share time, I want you to think about the books that you're reading, and it doesn't have to be your present book. I did say presently, but you can think of a previous book from this year or one of your favorite books. How would you sell that book? How would you convince somebody else that's never seen the book or heard of the book that it's a book worthy of them to buy and to read or to check out from the library? Why do you think it's so good? And you're the salesperson. So that's called using your persuasive ability to get other people to do something that you think that they should do. So that's persuasion. So if you have something that you want to share today about a book that you're really, really stoked about, you can tell us all about it. I'll let Fabian in here right now. Creative writing, we got the 6 traits of great writing, which you should continue referencing. You're going to keep writing on your new narrative story, focusing on the 6 great traits and keys to effective writing. And I don't know if you watched the song yet, but that's really fun. It's really a good song. Raise your hand if you watched that yesterday. Nobody did? Nobody watched that video? Okay. So that video is a really cool video on editing and how editing is important.
I did.
Excellent. So today, oh, by the way, let me emphasize this too. The narrative is the big deal for the writing assignments, but next week you'll have to create one, it can just be 1 paragraph long about a persuasive piece. In fact, it could be the persuasion of you trying to tell somebody how great a book is. So 1 paragraph persuasion, you can do 2 or 3, but you just have to do 1. Or you can do an informational piece where you're explaining what something is, or how it works, or how to do something. So those will be all due. And again, those will be sent to your 4th grade teacher so they have a good example of what you can do coming into the school year to your ELA teacher. Yes?
Mr. Bagby, are we supposed to do all 3 of them by the end of this school year?
Yeah, but these 2 are just a paragraph apiece. So there's the only thing that are going to be happening next week is we're going to be finishing the little prints, and you're going to be working on your tour guide, being a docent, a tour guide to someplace on earth, and then just a little bit of writing. So don't feel overwhelmed. I'm not going to overwhelm you in the last couple weeks of school. We're just wrapping everything up. Now, today we have a little mini lesson. And at the end of it, you're going to share your ideas. So let's look at this. You're working on your strong narrative story right now. And you can't have a story without characters. And you can't have a story with characters unless you know who the characters are and what they're like. What makes them tick? In other words, what motivates them? And the best way to develop a character is to think, what motivates you? Why do you do the things you do? Why do you say the things you say? And then think of other people and you think, what makes them who they are? If you watch a movie and you really like the character, what makes them the character that they are? How do we know that? Well, the author has 3 techniques, only 3, to get you to know a character. They can show you what they say, they can describe what they do, and then the author can crawl inside the character's mind and tell you what they're thinking. So the author can tell you what the character's thinking, the author can show you what they're saying, and the author can show you what they are doing. Those are the 3 techniques of characters that authors have, including you, in making your narrative. So think about what a character is. And the other thing about a character is, if you watch a TV show, characters on that TV show stay in character. They don't become another character in the next show, unless something weird happens, like they clonk their head or they go crazy or something happens, but they stay in their character. In fact, when writers develop a show and are writing the show out, and the characters get to know the characters after a season or 2, the actors actually work then with the writers to say, here, I already know what they're going to say because I've been this character for so long, I know how they're going to react. And that's how they develop the show to keep on moving forward. They stay within character. In fact, some actors, one of their biggest complaints about the writers is, you gave me lines to say that don't make any sense to this character. So they'll work with the writers, and I think you should say it this way because it really fits more of who this person is. So think about what your character is, who they are, by what they're saying, what they're thinking, and what they do. The setting development, some stories, the plots, the setting is just not that important. Other stories, the setting is essential. And then other stories, it's somewhere in between. Why is the setting of your story important? Why does it have to occur on a baseball field? If it's about baseball, it's got to have a baseball field. If it's about being in the desert and surviving there, it has to have a desert. So the setting can be very crucial. Why is it important to your story? If you have a story and nothing happens, well, that's not a story. The story has to have a plot, a sequence of events. Where do you want your story to go, and how do you want it to end? How will you get there? If you know how you want your story to end, everything that happens is taking you to that end point. There is no story without an ending. There is a movie called The Never-Ending Story, but even that movie ended. So every story, no matter what, has to have a place where everything ends. And not just ends, it ends with a sense of the story is now complete, not just because I got tired of writing and I just said, the end. It has to have an ending that makes sense. And again, I'm giving you these concepts and ideas, not to think that you're going to write the world's next great bestseller. You're writing as a third grader, going into fourth grader as a gifted student. So just use these ideas and think about them. And just stay within yourself and your voice and who you are as a person in developing your plot, your setting, and your characters. If characters didn't talk, we would not know much about them. So how they talk is very important. It should match their character. It should match who they are in your story. So think about the dialogue. There has to be good dialogue back and forth. And some of the best stories, have the best dialogue. That includes TV shows, plays, movies. In fact, if you go to a play, it's hard to have a play. Could you imagine a play without any dialogue? It'd be like watching mimes up on stage, just going through movements. It'd be very difficult to figure out what they were doing. So the dialogue is very important in storytelling. And how do you develop dialogue? You develop your ear. You listen to people talking. You really listen to how they're talking, and then you remember that. And then you try to write like people talk and like the way you want your character to talk. And then your ending, no matter what it is, it has to kind of make sense. It can't just like end. The world blew up, so everything ended. Yeah, the universe ended, so my story's over. Well, that's been done before. So make sure your ending makes sense. The ending doesn't just happen, you plan it. Now, when I got done at this point with the other homeroom, they came up with a list of ideas right here. And now I'm going to allow you to, oops, made that a little bigger. These are the ideas. Please unmute yourself. And if you have something to add to this list, their ideas were make it fun, interesting, exciting, use real life stories, use a mystery, so people have to uncover what's going on, stick to the same genre, don't mix it up, use good punctuation, plan it out little by little, know your characters' personalities, use current topics like that are in the news right now. Any more ideas? Just unmute yourself and talk out loud.
Details.
Details. Okay. Somebody else.
Problem and solution.
Just say it out loud. Unmute yourself and say it. Or write it.
I think for an ending, you should make sure that it makes sense. Like, make sure it makes sense, and you still have the same story, and you're not trying to put 25 stories in one.
Use plot twists.
Endings that make sense to the story. Somebody else.
Use plot twists.
Use what?
Plot twists.
Plot twists. Ooh. Plot twists are fun because you expect it to be going not one way and then suddenly it goes another way. Plot twists are very essential to keeping the interest level. Because if you can predict everything in a story that's going to happen, you basically will stop reading. If you know everything that's going to happen. If you started a movie, you knew exactly what's going to happen all the way through it, Somebody else. Plot twist. What else? What makes a good narrative to you? What makes a story good to you? Okay, well, we got a good list here. Let's roll on.
Solution.
What?
Clean words.
Solutions to what?
Problem.
How about solutions to the mysteries?
Clean words.
All right, moving on. Yesterday's questions were a little tough. In fact, did anybody get the water drainage? Did anybody try that one?
I did. I got it correct.
Tried it.
You did?
21 hours and 36 minutes.
Did you get it exactly right?
Yeah, wasn't it 26 hours? 21 hours and 36 minutes?
Yes.
What?
I knew somebody could get it. Now, since those were so tough yesterday, the answers there are Romeo and Juliet, War of the Worlds, Animal Farm, Gone with the Wind, Watership Down. Today's is just for fun.
I almost
It's a
got it.
video with Disney voices, and you have to guess which Disney voice it is. So it's out of
Undo
movie,
that.
and you listen to it, and then you can tell us how many you got right. So that's fun. Listen to the voices. Now, if you're not a Disney movie fan, you could just skip it. It's just for fun today. But if you are a Disney movie fan, see how many you can get.
I've never watched a Disney movie.
Well, then, you know, that gifted thinking thing today probably is not for you.
The only
You
thing
just
I've
want
ever
to try it
done is I
anyway.
went to Disney once.
How is it 21 hours?
Okay, so 21 hours and 36 minutes is the answer to that. And moving
I got
down
21
here.
hours and 35 minutes.
Well, that's close enough to being right. Upton.
How did I get?
If you were 1 minute, if you were just an hour off, you did a really good job. If you were anywhere close to 21 hours and 36 seconds, you did a fabulous job at
How did I get 1 minute wrong?
Is 6 close?
Okay, let's move on, and then you'll have a chance to share. We've got the Fertile Crescent today, a little short video. What made the Fertile Crescent so important? I got Mr. Nicky's song by the Euphrates River.
Better use for a reason.
And here you go. Remember, last week, starting actually next week, Thursday and Friday, and then the following week, it will be totally dedicated to your tour guide presentations. You are going to be running it, and I will just be here monitoring it and moderating, and I'm really looking forward to what you guys come up with. And please let me know soon what topic you're going to do by telling me in the private channel what your topic is. And if you choose a topic and you can't find information on it, change your topic. Don't try, if you're not getting any information, there's plenty of other places to choose. Maybe 1 million different places, maybe 10 million different places. So there's going to be a lot out there on almost any site you can think of. But if you can't find stuff, just change it.
Yeah, I'm using National Geographic.
Excellent. Today's geography, of course, you got the geography games. The 10 most uninhabitable places on Earth. Places that are where there are no people. What do you think is the most uninhabitable, and would you like to visit? Because as uninhabitable as these places are, people still love to visit them because they like to say, you know where I went?
Rhode Island.
Antarctica.
Live there, and I visited there. So,
Antarctica.
uninhabitable places.
Turd Island.
All right. Now,
Mars.
okay, excuse
The
me.
moon. No one lives on the moon.
Okay, we're gonna wait.
I live on Mars.
Please remute yourself. The Roblox quiz today is just for fun. It's a popular program, and I've done other quizzes just for fun and this online learning. So if you don't like the Roblox quiz, you can skip it. It's just
It has
fun.
bad grammar, like really bad grammar.
Does it?
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
the red dragon. Like you're from the Minecraft quiz.
And jailbreak
True that,
isn't the
true
most
that, true that.
popular thing And Jailbreak isn't the most popular
Adopt
game. It's
Me
Adopt
is.
Me. Everyone knows
Well,
that.
it was kind of hard for me because I'm not familiar with it other than knowing that it's a popular game. And plus it had thousands of people that took it. So that usually indicates that it was a popular one. Now today's family fun. Yesterday we had the best memory of elementary school. And if anybody wants to share that out loud, I'll let you share that in just a minute.
Can I share my narrative?
In just a minute. Just hold on just a second. Today, it's the meanest teacher. Who was your mom or dad's or brothers or sisters or some relative, the meanest teacher? Mine, believe it or not, was my 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. Martin. She had those kind of glasses that went up into cat eyes. She had her hair piled up on top of her head. Her eyebrows were always way up, and her face looked like this all day. So every time you looked at her, you're like, and she would literally come around, and if you weren't paying attention, it would be whack right on the top of the head. And didn't like Mrs. Martin. She was a trip.
Wait, I had one in 1st grade.
Now here is the sad fact of the day, all about the author of The Little Prince. He took off in a plane and he vanished. And then his plane was found much later in 2000. They found his plane and they found a little identity bracelet. But yeah, he did not have the happiest of life, but he certainly wrote one of the most enduring books of the 20th century and into the future. And again, it might seem like a science fiction story and there are science fiction elements, but really it's all about how we are to each other, how we think about the world around us, how we treat each other, and then all different types of characters that you meet. And that's what the book is about, is how to deal with all the different kinds of people there are. And there's a lot of them. So at this point, I'm going to stop the screen share. And I'm going to ask you, you can share your narrative. You can share something about your books that you're reading, like you want to sell us on why that book is so good. Or any other question or comment, or maybe something that your relative said about the best memory.
I would like.
Who would like to share?
My narrative.
Well, actually, I hadn't.
Okay, we got too many people talking at once, so Fabian, go ahead. Fabian, go ahead. Fabian, I thought you said you had something to share. No? Okay, Lena, go ahead.
I'm going to share my narrative paragraph, so can you let me screen share?
Yes, let me fix that. Advanced sharing options. Boom, go ahead.
Yeah. This is a story about me, so how I broke my leg. One day, me, my dad, and my sister decided to go to Airheads. We had a fun time until I decided to jump on another girl's jump pad. If you don't know, like, it says don't jump on another person's jump pad for some reason, and I did. I was, like, almost starting pre-K, so I didn't know. It happened so suddenly. First, I was bouncing high. Next, I was in a forced split. The staff gave me an ice pack, and my dad rushed me to the hospital.
Oh.
At this time, I had a ton of stuffed animals in the car, and I was screaming, "I don't want a shot!" When we got to the hospital, my dad tried to put me in the wheelchair, but I told him I didn't want to go in that one. They put me in an x-ray room and gave me an x-ray. They told me I broke my leg and gave me a stuffed animal. After that, they put on a cast and I got to watch Despicable Me. They put a weird sock on my cast and I got a walker. My dad drove me and my sister home and I sat on the couch. That's the story of how I broke my leg.
Is that a true story?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Man.
I broke it like the week before pre-K was starting, so I had to leave early before nap time every single day.
Pre-K? You were doing that before you were in pre-K? Like when you were 4?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Airheads. I've never been to Airheads. I've eaten Airheads, but that's a different thing, isn't it?
I thought that she meant she was like going to the store to get Airheads.
Let me stop
Any
this
comment for Lena's story?
I do.
Go ahead.
So at first I was kind of confused, thinking that you were like going to a store to get airheads.
Oh,
So you might want to say like we were going to like a trampoline park or whatever it was called.
that's
Airheads.
true. If people don't know what that is, you could just put like even in parentheses, hey, a punctuation. This is a blah, 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 you know, whatever it is. Thank you, Mila. Who else wants to share? Schoolwork, classwork.
That was
Story, narrative.
Lena.
Upton, do you want to?
I already did.
Oh, that's right, you did. Who else wants to share? Guys, you're going to have to share no matter what.
Mr. Bagby,
Yes?
I haven't asked my parents what was their meanest teacher, but I remember in first grade we had a really mean substitute.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I know what she's
What were
talking
they-
about.
What made them
Miss
so mean?
Shuttleworth. It was Miss Shuttleworth.
And what made her so mean?
Don't
None of
remind
my
me of her.
teachers were-
Don't remind me of her.
I can't really I remember all of it, but she was just so mean.
Yeah?
None of my teachers are mean, but the meanest one was either my teacher, my kindergarten teacher, Miss Russell, or my first grade teacher.
And she had like, and then she
Oh,
had like,
can I tell you a crazy
she
story?
had her glasses all the way down, and she was just looking at us all the time we were working.
Sounds like Mrs. Martin.
Scary.
She didn't
need to
flaunt you
tell
with the ruler though on your head though, did she?
Oh no.
No.
I need to tell you something crazy. One
Okay, I
time in
really do
first
need to hear
grade,
some more schoolwork
It
though.
was like,
Who else
it was,
has a narrative to share?
please.
Mr.
Narrative.
Bagby.
Fabian,
It's
go
not a
ahead.
narrative, but it's something.
No, Fabian is up. Fabian, where'd you go, man? There he is. I can't unmute you, mate, Damien. Could you unmute yourself? Fabian, do you know how to unmute yourself? You have to go down to the side, and where it says mute, you have to unmute yourself.
I think he does. Maybe his computer doesn't have volume or something.
Yes, it does. He's talked before. Fabian, can you unmute yourself? You have to go down to the left bottom corner of the screen, and it says mute. And you go down there, and you can unmute yourself. There
Okay.
you go. Go ahead. What do you have to share? Are you going to screen share?
No, I'm gonna read it.
Oh, good. Go ahead. Let's all listen.
We saw the storm from far away, but it was too late. The storm was coming to the ship, and we all felt it. Some people jumped out of the ship, some took the backup boats. It was like the ship was trembling. We were so close to the storm that I fell off. I was so lucky I fell on a backup boat. The person in the boat was calm instead of panicking like any other person. And I found out that person was the captain of the cruise. He looked at me paralyzed. He thought it was a miracle that I was okay. And is a crew.
Wow. Wow. So where did you so is this based on a true story or is it complete fiction?
Complete fiction.
Oh wow. So do you know how the story is going to end yet?
I'm working on it.
All
Yeah.
right. Let's open it up to the class. Does anybody have some advice for Fabian on this exciting story of a sea adventure?
Nope, it was really good. That's all I have to say.
Upton liked it, said it was really good.
It was amazing, Fabian.
Thank you.
Thanks, Max.
And he used a lot of bigger words.
Yeah, didn't he?
Can I tell you a crazy story now?
Actually, somebody else has already asked to go, and that would be Max, if you can get yourself set up on what you're going to perform for us. And until that, Lena, You can say it real quick. Max,
One
get
time
yourself
in
ready.
first grade, my friend, not really a friend, just a person in my class, they fell out of their chair and had a quick seizure. She was like shaking on the ground, face flat. It was kind of like she fainted. After that, my other classmate accidentally stabbed herself with a scissor.
Oh gosh. You know, that actually sounds like a seizure.
Ina in first grade?
Does. It's
It
kind of
was only
scary.
5 seconds though.
If you've ever seen somebody have a seizure, it's, you know, something that they usually know about, but to anybody that doesn't know, it can be quite frightening.
Is Max playing the piano?
He's supposed to.
Yes.
Max, are you ready? Uh-oh. Way up high now. All right, Max, let's give him a hand.
All right.
That sounds like some old blues roll musicians. Little blues action there. Very nice, Max.
Thank you.
What's that called, by the way?
It's called the 12-bar blues.
The 12-part blues. Indeed. All right, so yesterday
How's
I was
breakdancing?
describing something and then the screen went away because I have no options. When 40 minutes is up, 40 minutes is up, and it just goes.
There's only 3 minutes left.
I know. So if anybody has something to say or share, you can talk amongst yourselves, and then we'll shut it down with a countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You guys can chat.
Ali is interested.
Tina, what's your level in Prodigy?
99 probably.
I'm like 73. I'm so noob.
My level what? No ticket.
83.
I forgot.
I'm
I'm
70.
I'm noob. I'm only level 57. I'm noob. I'm big
No,
noob.
I'm new with
I'm level
membership.
40. I'm a
I'm
trainee.
noob with membership.
I'm big noob.
94.
I'm big noob. I'm
Wait, what
57.
I'm big noob with membership.
Swati, what level are you?
I am big noob with no membership.
94? It says you're 33 on my screen.
Yeah.
I have a different account. Miss Dirks made me a different account. What? So I do it
It's
on
grind arena.
It says classmates, and you're my classmate.
How come no one plays arena?
Yeah, but
I do. Bro, I got some boots from Arena, from like last year's Arena.
Miss Dirks said I had
This year's arena.
Okay, I'll search you
Well, I
up.
didn't play much of this year's Arena.
Swati,
I mean,
are you a member?
I already got the first
I'll
reward.
tell you on my phone what name I am. Are you a member or not? I'm not a